Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. This unfortunately will be the last in the series, the Oncidium Alliance series, for a while, because as stated in the What's in My Pot, the two new Oncidium types are not going to be repotted now, and there could be quite a long wait. So this is where they're going to live. They are going to stay in the house. I'm going to do what I can with the, well, certainly as far as the true Oncidium is concerned. The light level in here is probably going to be a little lower than it would like. The other one will be fine. Phalaenopsis are fine, we've already done those. But what I have done is set up a little humidity tray for them. That's just a watertight tray, and I've put some Ceramis in there, which holds a hell of a lot of water. That's just baked clay, basically, Ceramis. And that tray will be kept topped up with water to give some evaporation directly around those plants. Now, these are not going to get a fan on them, so they're not going to get much air movement at all, but purely by accident rather than planning, they are right next to the door to the grow room. Yeah, and I walk in and out of there many times a day and open and shut the door many times a day. So that's going to create some air movement, not much, and some change of air in this particular area of the house. So they won't get static, non-moving air, which you can get in some rooms in a house, you know, unless the window's open and the door to get an airflow. So not much airflow around them. But they should do reasonably well. I mean, my little gadget down there, it's early in the day at the moment, it actually says it's coming up to 21 degrees and it says 83% humidity, but that little gadget is right next to the tray. Obviously, as the temperature in the grow room rises, the temperature in the house will rise for the same reason. The sun will come in through the windows and the house will warm up a bit. This time of year I'm happy with 21 degrees. In the winter I might be thinking of putting a jumper on. But nonetheless, both of these, the one that's got a fair bit of Odontoglossum in it, we do now have a very, well, I'll say semi-verified name. It does seem to be a named clone of, I'll put the pop-up on there, but it's not on the RHS register. So it could be registered elsewhere, but I've got a name I'm happy with now, and we'll run with that, basically. I mean, this one's got a proper name, I don't need to worry about that, and that is a registered name, so we're okay with that. Yeah, so this is where they're going to live. The Oncidium is half Sotoanum, or a fair bit of Sotoanum in it, if not half. That is very temperature tolerant anyway. You know, that'll grow anywhere in the intermediate range, and it'll take heat if it gets it, as long as the humidity stays high. Well, it's never going to get that warm in here unless we get another real heat wave, you know, where the house is warming up because the outside temperature is really hot. But apart from that, that's going to be in its comfort zone, whatever, in the house. The one that's got a fair bit of Odontoglossum in it, that would prefer cooler temperatures, but I'm not a heat lover, so I don't let my house get that warm, not even in the winter. So it should be within its comfort range, as should the Phalaenopsis in here. I've always said with Phalaenopsis, if you're comfortable, they probably are as well. The only thing that the two Oncidiums would like, that the Phalaenopsis are not so dependent on, is a reasonable drop at night. 4 to 5 degrees C drop between daytime and nighttime seems to help these grow better. So that's where we are with those two, and I'm looking forward to an awful lot more blooms opening on this Oncidium. There's a lot of spikes. Some are just starting to break, you know, out of the leaf joints where they come from. Some are pushing on. Some have been staked to open soon. So it's going to be in bloom a long time, I suspect. And at the moment in the house I detect no fragrance, which I'm surprised about given what's in it. But it could just be that it needs that trigger. There's an awful lot of fragrance on orchids is triggered by what you would call a relatively sudden increase in light. So like in the grow room, from the lower light before the sun hits it, and then the sun takes about an hour to drift across it. In a plant world, you know, changing from those two light levels in an hour is relatively sudden. So, and it may be that later on today, when the sun gets in the grow room and filters through here, it might actually kick out some fragrance. We shall see, because some of the blooms are not newly opened, some have been opened a while. So we will wait and see. So that's where they're going to live. I hope they're going to do okay. As I said before, the two Cattleyas that I bought, I'm not having them in the house. One of those is incredibly rare. Now I've found out what it really is, which was not what was on the label. Chances of coming across that again are slim. I need to keep that alive, and it wouldn't survive very well at all in the house. The other Cattleya hybrid probably would, but I'm not going to risk it. They're going to stay in the grow room. And I'll go over that when we look at those two. So there we go. That's, as I said, the end of the Oncidium series for a while, but we will revisit it at whatever time I choose to repot these. And the Odontoglossum type, that will get repotted as soon as I can. This one's not quite so important, but I want them both out of their current media as soon as I can, but it's not right to do them now. I know there's a lot of people sort of think, oh, if I buy a new orchid, I'm going to repot it straight away. And if you've got bad media that niffs a bit, you know, smells like a damp cellar, then I would probably agree. But these two aren't in bad media. The media's not old and tired. And even though in one case it's not the media I would choose, it'll do for now. I don't want to disturb these plants unnecessarily just for the sake of changing the media. It's not always necessary. I mean, there's a lot of the store-bought stuff you get that really is necessary. Should have been done 6 months ago, like that necessary. But not in the case of these two. These will be okay for a while. But I wouldn't make that decision without getting them out of their pot, if you see what I mean. I wouldn't guess. I'd have to have the pot off and have a good look round and get my nose in there before I made that decision. So, but that decision was made. I'm sticking to it. So we'll revisit these now and again just to see how they're getting on. But I don't suspect they're going to change much. Until we get to the point where we repot. I mean, if they suddenly start going downhill, I'll let you know. You'll probably hear me talking about it. But I think these are going to do okay in here. But we'll see how we go. And as I said, Oncidium's in the home. Try and get your humidity up. If you can, introduce some gentle airflow. I don't mean a force 8 gale, you know. And make sure that the little breeze you create isn't a draft. A draft really won't do them any good at all. It's difficult to explain the difference between a breeze and a draft. The way I look at it is, if you were in a draft, you would want to move out of it. Yeah? But a gentle breeze could be appreciated. That's the way I sort of differentiate. But if your plant's bending over and your airflow's knocking the pot over every 10 minutes, it's a bit too strong. So we'll run with that. And I hope they do okay. See you next time. Bye for now.